Wait a second. What you're about to hear is going to hit deep and make you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support.
Dad, please just sit here and don't touch anything. This isn't the park. This is $1 billion company. Try not to embarrass us today, okay? Those were the words my son Michael whispered to me as he shoved me into a corner chair in the reception area of Helios Dynamics. He didn't even look me in the eye. He was too busy adjusting his silk tie, checking his watch, and making sure none of his important colleagues saw the old man in the faded brown cardigan sitting next to the potted plant. My daughter Sarah was no better. She stood a few feet away, frantically typing on her phone, her heels clicking aggressively against the marble floor. She looked up only once, offering a tight, stressed smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We have the board meeting of the century today, Dad. The ghost is supposed to finally show up. We can't be distracted by family matters. Just wait here until lunch, and maybe we can get you a sandwich from the cafeteria." A sandwich from the cafeteria. I nodded slowly, clasping my hands over the handle of my old walking stick. "All right," I said, my voice raspy and quiet. "I'll be quiet. Good luck with the ghost." Michael scoffed, rolling his eyes as he turned to walk through the security gates. "Luck? We don't need luck, Dad. We need a miracle to convince this mystery shareholder not to gut the company. But what would you understand about company politics anyway? Just stay put." They walked away, their confident strides echoing through the massive glass-walled lobby, like sharks in expensive suits. They looked both hungry and terrified. They left me there just like that and didn't even look back. Not even once. I sat in those expensive chairs they put in the lobby just to look cool, and I watched them go. The employees scurrying around, terrified of my children, was a whole other scene. I watched the security guards stiffen as Michael passed, and a strange, melancholic smile touched my lips. "My name is Arthur Pendleton. I am 72 years old. To my children, I am a retired mechanic who got lucky with a few savings bonds and now spends his days gardening and watching old westerns. To them, I am a relic, a burden, a simple man who doesn't understand the complexities of the modern world, high finance, or the ruthless nature of the corporate ladder they are climbing so desperately. They think I live off a meagre pension. They think the house I live in is falling apart. They think I need their help, their pity, and their guidance. What they don't know, and what nobody in this building knows, except for one very old, very loyal lawyer named Mr. Sterling, is that I am not just a retired mechanic. I am the ghost. I am the mysterious majority shareholder they are so terrified of. I am the one who built Helios Dynamics from a garage workshop into a global empire 40 years ago, using a network of shell companies and trusts to keep my name off the door. I did it to protect my privacy. Later, I kept it a secret to test my children. I wanted to see if they would rise to the occasion on their own merits. I wanted to see if they would treat people with respect, if they would lead with integrity, if they would care about the workers on the factory floor as much as the numbers on the spreadsheet. I have been watching them from the shadows for 15 years. I have read every report. I have tracked every decision. And today, sitting in this lobby, treated like a nuisance in the very building I laid the foundation for, I finally have my answer. It is a painful answer, but today, the test ends. Today, the ghost becomes flesh and blood, comes alive, and my children are about to have the worst day of their lives. They are about to look like they have truly seen a ghost. But to understand why I have to do what I'm about to do, you have to understand how we got here. You have to understand that this coldness, this arrogance my children display, didn't happen overnight. It was a slow rot, a gradual decay of the values their mother and I tried so hard to instill in them. My wife, Martha, God rest her soul, used to say, "Arthur, money is like fertilizer. Spread it around and things grow. Pile it up in one place and it just stinks. We lived by that. Even when the company started making millions in the late 80s, we stayed in our 3-bedroom ranch house. I drove a truck. She clipped coupons. We weren't stingy. We were just grounded. We wanted Michael and Sarah to understand the value of $1. But somewhere along the line, I failed. Maybe I worked too much. Maybe I shielded them too much from the struggles I faced coming up. When Martha passed away 10 years ago, the anchor of our family was gone. She was my everything. I retreated into my grief, and my children, they retreated into their ambition. They joined Helios Dynamics under pseudonyms at my insistence, starting in mid-level management. I thought they were working their way up. I thought they were earning it. But reports started reaching me, reports of ruthlessness, reports of them taking credit for others' work, reports of them cutting benefits for the lowest paid employees to boost their quarterly bonuses. I didn't want to believe it. A father never wants to believe his children are villains. I made excuses. It's just the business culture, I told myself. They have to be tough. But the last 6 months have been impossible to ignore. They stopped visiting. They started not to care about me. When they did call, it was always brief, always wanting something. They pushed me to sell my house. It's an eyesore, Dad, and the land is worth a fortune, so they could use the proceeds for their own investments. They treated me not as a father, but as a liquid asset they couldn't quite access yet. Then came the invitation for today. "Come to the office, Dad," Sarah had said on the phone 2 days ago. Her voice was deceptively sweet. "We need you to sign some papers regarding Mom's old life insurance policy. We can do lunch. It'll be nice." I knew it was a lie. I knew there were no insurance papers left to sign. But I agreed. I wanted to see them. I wanted to give them one last chance to show me some kindness, some humanity, before the board meeting. I arrived at 9 a.m. sharp. They kept me waiting in the lobby until 9:45. When they finally came down, they didn't hug me. They didn't ask how I was. They immediately started looking around to see if anyone was watching. "You wore that?" Michael had hissed, looking at my cardigan. It was Martha's favorite. I wore it for courage. "It's cold out, son," I had replied gently. "It looks like you slept in it," he snapped. "Look, Dad, we don't have time for lunch. The ghost, the majority shareholder, is rumored to be coming to the emergency board meeting at 1 p.m. The whole company is on lockdown. We need you to just sit here, sign the waiver when we bring it, and then you can take a cab home. We'll cover the cost." "A waiver?" I asked. "I thought it was insurance papers." Sarah sighed, the sound sharp and impatient. "It's a form releasing any claim to the trust Mom set up. We found a loophole that allows us to access the principal if you consent. It's technical. You wouldn't understand. Just sign it so we can have some liquidity. We need to buy more shares to protect our positions against this shareholder." There it was, the greed. They wanted to drain the last of their mother's legacy to fight a battle against me. "I'll wait," I said. "I'm not signing anything without reading it." That was when Michael shoved me into the corner chair. That was when they walked away. So here I am. It is now 11:30 a.m. I have been sitting here for nearly 2 hours. My hip hurts. I am thirsty. The receptionist, a young woman with bright red lipstick, who clearly knows who my children are, hasn't offered me so much as a glass of water. In fact, half an hour ago, she called security because I stood up to stretch my legs. "Sir, please remain seated," the guard had said, his hand hovering near his belt. "Mr. Pendleton, the younger Mr. Pendleton, doesn't want you wandering around disturbing the workflow. I built this building," I wanted to say. "I poured the concrete for this foundation." Instead, I just sat back down. I close my eyes and listen to the hum of the lobby. I can hear the whispers of the employees passing by. "Who's the old guy?" "That's Michael's dad. Can you believe it? He looks like a hobo. No wonder Michael never talks about him. I heard they're trying to put him in a home. Sarah was talking about it in the break room. Said he's losing his marbles. Losing my marbles. Is that what they tell people? That I am senile? It's a clever strategy. If I am senile, I can't control my assets. A judge would give them power of attorney. A cold fury begins to rise in my chest. It is not a hot, explosive anger. It is the cold, hard resolve of a man who realizes he has to amputate a limb to save the body. I check my watch. 12 p.m. 1 hour until the meeting. My phone buzzes in my pocket. It's a text from Mr. Sterling. I am in the parking garage, Arthur. The papers are ready. The board is assembling upstairs. Your children just entered the conference room. They look nervous. Are you sure you want to do this? I type back with trembling fingers. I have never been more sure of anything, old friend. Bring the suit. I stand up. The pain in my hip is there, but I ignore it. I walk over to the reception desk. The young woman looks up, annoyed. I told you, sir, you have to wait for your son to come get you. I'm not waiting anymore, miss, I say, my voice steady and deeper than before. I'm going to the restroom. Unless I need a security clearance to pee? She rolls her eyes. Down the hall, to the left. Don't wander off. I walk down the hall, but I don't go to the restroom. I turn right toward the service elevator. I know the code. I programmed it myself 20 years ago. It hasn't changed. It's my birthday. I punch in the numbers. The doors slide open. Mr. Sterling is there, holding a garment bag and a briefcase. He is 80 years old, stooped, and looks frail, but his mind is as sharp as a razor. He has been my lawyer, my confidant, and my only friend for decades. Arthur, he nods. You look terrible. I'm playing the part, Charles, I reply, stepping inside. The elevator starts to rise. Did you bring it? He unzips the garment bag. Inside is my charcoal grey bespoke suit, tailored on Savile Row in 1995. It is timeless. Quality never goes out of style. Alongside it, a crisp white shirt, a silk tie of deep crimson, and my polished Oxfords. We have 10 minutes before we reach the executive floor, Sterling says. I stop the elevator between floors so you can change. I strip off the faded cardigan, the baggy trousers, the worn-out flannel shirt. As I dress, I feel the transformation. It's not just the clothes, it's the posture, it's the mindset. I am putting away Arthur the gardener, Arthur the burden. I am becoming Arthur Pendleton, the founder, the chairman, the ghost. Kravatı bağlıyorum. I slip on the jacket. It fits perfectly. I run a comb through my grey hair, slicking it back. I take the gold watch Sterling hands me, a Patek Philippe that Michael has been eyeing for years, and clasp it around my wrist. How do I look? I ask. Sterling smiles, a rare expression for him. You look like the man who ate competitors for breakfast in the 90s. You look like the boss. Good, I say. Let's go upstairs. Sterling restarts the elevator. We rise. Level 40. The executive suite. The doors open. The atmosphere up here is different. It smells of money and anxiety. The hallway is lined with expensive art. At the end of the hall are the double mahogany doors of the boardroom. I can hear voices raised inside. I recognize Michael's voice. He is shouting. We walk down the hall. My cane strikes the floor with a rhythmic thud-click, thud-click. The secretary outside the boardroom, not the one from the lobby, but the executive assistant, a woman named Linda who has been here for 30 years, looks up. Her eyes go wide. She drops her pen. Mr. Pendleton, she gasps. She remembers me, from the old days. I put a finger to my lips. Hello, Linda. You're looking well. Is the board in session? Yes, sir, but your children. They said you were... I know what they said. Open the doors, please. She hesitates for a split second, then nods. She stands up and pushes the heavy doors open. The conversation inside stops instantly. There are 12 people around the massive oval table. 10 of them are board members, men and women in expensive suits, looking stressed. At the head of the table, standing up, is Michael. To his right sits Sarah. They turn to look at the intrusion. For a moment there is silence, a deafening silence. They look like they've seen a ghost. I know exactly where I am, Michael, I say. My voice is not loud, but it projects to every corner of the room. It is the voice that negotiated mergers while Michael was still in diapers. I am in the boardroom of Helios Dynamics. I am standing at the head of a table made of Brazilian mahogany that I commissioned in 1985. And I am looking at a board of directors that has presided over a 15% drop in stock value over the last 2 quarters. Michael's face goes pale, then red. Dad, stop it! You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing us. Get out, now. He moves toward me, reaching out to grab my arm. I lift my cane and point it at his chest. I don't touch him, but the motion stops him dead in his tracks. Sit down, boy, I command. The authority in my voice is something he has never heard before. He freezes. Who are you to tell me what to do in my own company? Michael snarls, trying to regain dominance. I am the CEO. Sarah is the CFO. You are a trespassing pensioner. Security is on the way. Your company? I ask. I turn to Sterling. Charles, please distribute the packets. Sterling moves around the table, placing a thick folder in front of every board member. He slides the last 2 in front of Michael and Sarah. What is this? Sarah asks, her hands trembling as she opens the folder. That, I say, resting my hands on the back of the empty chair at the head of the table, is the updated shareholder register. As of this morning, the trust structures have been dissolved and the assets consolidated under a single name. Michael stares at the document. His eyes scan the lines. I watch the colour drain from his face until he looks like a sheet of paper. He drops the folder. It hits the table with a slap that sounds like a gunshot in the quiet room. No, he whispers. That's impossible. The ghost is a conglomerate called Apex Holdings. And who do you think owns Apex Holdings? I ask gently. I pull out my chair, the chairman's chair, and sit down. I lean back, crossing my hands over my chest. Hello, Michael. Hello, Sarah. I believe you've been waiting for the majority shareholder. I'm here. Sarah collapses into her chair. She looks like she's going to be sick. You? She breathes. You own everything? 51% of the voting stock, I correct her, plus the founding shares which carry veto power over executive appointments. Which brings me to the business of the day. I look around the table. The other board members are stunned, but I see dawning realization in the eyes of the older ones. They remember. They see the resemblance now. They see the old Arthur Pendleton who built this place. One of them, George, a man I hired 30 years ago, starts to smile. I have been watching, I say, addressing the room. For 15 years, I stepped back. I wanted to see what the next generation would do. I wanted to see if my children would lead with the values this company was founded on: integrity, respect, hard work. I turned my gaze to Michael. He is shrinking in his seat, looking smaller than I have ever seen him. Instead, I continue, my voice hardening, I have seen arrogance. I have seen greed. I have seen a toxic culture that treats employees like disposable tools. And today I experienced that culture firsthand. Dad, please, Michael stammers. We didn't know. If we knew it was you. That is exactly the point. I slam my hand on the table. The sound makes everyone jump. You didn't know it was the boss. You thought it was just your father. You thought it was just a poor old man. And because you thought I had no power, you treated me like garbage. I look at Sarah. Tears are streaming down her face, ruining her perfect makeup. You left me in the lobby for 2 hours, I say softly. You mocked my clothes. You tried to trick me into signing away your mother's insurance money because you were greedy for more capital to fight me. You were so busy looking up at the sky, terrified of the ghost, that you didn't look down to see the Father standing right in front of you. We're sorry, Sarah sobs. Dad, we're so sorry. We were just stressed. The pressure. Character is not flawed by how you act when things are easy, Sarah, I tell her. It is defined by how you act when you are stressed. And you both failed. Spectacularly. I turn to the board. I am calling for a motion to restructure the executive leadership, effective again bound. Michael's down desperate now. You can't do this. I've given my life to this company. I am the CEO. You are the CEO because I allowed you to be, I say. And now I am unallowing it. Motion seconded, George says from the other end of the table. All in favor? I ask. Every hand in the room goes up. Even the friends Michael thought he had bought. Rats desert a sinking ship, after all. Motion carried, I say. I look at my children. They look destroyed. Their careers, their reputations, their egos, all shattered in 5 minutes. Part of me, the father part, wants to weep for them. But the leader part knows this is the only way to save them. They need to be broken to be fixed. Michael, Sarah, I say, you are hereby removed from your positions as CEO and CFO. You will vacate your offices by the end of the day. Your corporate credit cards are canceled. Your company cars will be returned. So that's it? Michael asks, his shock turning to venom. You're kicking us out onto the street? Your own children? No, I say. I reach into my jacket pocket and pull out 2 envelopes. I slide them down the long mahogany table. They spin and stop right in front of them. Open them. They open the envelopes. Inside each is a single sheet of paper. What is this? Michael asks, reading it. A job offer? Junior logistics coordinator? That's a warehouse job. Minimum wage. It's an entry-level position, I explain. It's where I started. It's where you should have started. You expect me to work in the warehouse? Michael asks. I have an MBA. And I have a $1 billion company, I counter. Here is the deal.
You are fired from the top. But I am offering you a chance to start at the bottom. You will work in the warehouse. You will clock in at 7 a.m. You will wear a uniform. You will answer to the floor manager, Mr. Henderson, who, by the way, is a good man you tried to fire last month to save costs. I look at Sarah. She is reading her offer. Junior Customer Service Rep. You will answer phones, I tell her. You will listen to the customers you ignored. You will understand what this company actually does. And if we refuse, Michael asks, then you are cut off, I say, completely. No trust fund, no inheritance, no safety net. You walk out those doors and you make it on your own. It's your choice. You can be the arrogant executive who lost everything, or you can be the humble worker who earns it back. The room is silent. The air conditioning hums. Michael looks at the paper, then at me, then at the door. He looks at his expensive watch, the one bought with company bonuses. He looks at his sister. He realizes he has no skills. He has no reputation outside of this building. He has nothing without me. He slowly sits down. He doesn't say yes, but he doesn't leave. I can't work in the warehouse, Dad, he says. Everyone will know. Yes, I say, they will know. They will know that you are finally learning what work is. And if you stick with it, if you show up, work hard, and treat people with respect, maybe, just maybe, in a few years, you'll earn your way back to a desk. And eventually, back to this room. But this time, you'll deserve to be here. I stand up. The meeting is over. George, I say to the director who supported me, you're acting CEO until we find a replacement. I'll be coming in 3 days a week to oversee the transition. Yes, Arthur, George says. Welcome back. I look at my children one last time. They are staring at the table, stripped of their titles, their power, and their pride. They look like children again, naughty children who have finally been disciplined. I'm going to lunch, I announce. I believe there's a cafeteria downstairs. I hear the sandwiches are decent. I turn and walk out of the boardroom. Sterling walks beside me. That was intense, Sterling says as we head back to the elevator. It was necessary, I reply. My heart is heavy, but my conscience is clear. We get in the elevator. As the doors close, I catch a glimpse of Linda, the secretary, smiling at me. I wink at her. We go down to the lobby. The same receptionist is there. She sees me coming out of the executive elevator, wearing a bespoke suit, followed by a lawyer, walking with the confidence of a king. Her jaw drops. Have a nice day, miss, I say as I walk past her. And get that chair fixed. It's terrible for the back. I walk out the revolving doors into the fresh air. The sun is shining. I feel lighter than I have in years. The secret is out. The burden is lifted. My children have a long, hard road ahead of them. They will hate me for a while, maybe for a long while. They will sweat in that warehouse. They will cry in that call center. Their friends will laugh at them. The press might even mock them. But one day, I hope, I truly hope, they will understand. I didn't do this to hurt them. I did this to save them from becoming the kind of people who would leave an old man sitting in a lobby for 2 hours. I did this to give them the one thing I failed to give them growing up. The gift of struggle. I hail a cab. The driver pulls up. Where to, Chief? He asks. I look back at the gleaming skyscraper of Helios Dynamics. Home, I say. I have a garden that needs tending. And as the cab pulls away, merging into the traffic of the city I helped build, I finally relax. The ghost is gone. Arthur is back. And for the first time in a long time, the future looks like something that can actually grow. This happened 6 months ago. Since then, things have changed. Michael quit the warehouse after 3 days. He tried to sue me. He failed. He's currently trying to become a lifestyle influencer on social media. He doesn't talk to me. It hurts, but I know that enabling him further would have been the final nail in his coffin. He has to find his own way now. Sarah, however, Sarah surprised me. She took the customer service job. She hated it at first. She called me crying every night for 2 weeks. But she stayed. She started listening to the customers. She started realizing how her previous policies had hurt real people. Last Sunday, for the first time in years, a car pulled up to my small, run-down house. It was a modest sedan, not her flashy sports car. Sarah got out. She wasn't wearing a power suit. She was wearing jeans and a t-shirt. She was holding a bag of groceries. She walked up to the porch where I was sitting. She looked tired. Her nails weren't manicured. But her eyes were clear. "Hi, Dad," she said. "I brought steaks. I thought maybe we could grill." I looked at her. I didn't see the CFO. I didn't see the shark. I saw my daughter. "The grill is round back," I said. "I'll get the charcoal." She sat with me. We didn't talk about the company. We didn't talk about the money. We talked about the weather. We talked about her new cat. We talked about Mom. It wasn't a perfect ending. Michael is still lost. The company is still recovering. And I am tired. But as I watched Sarah laugh at one of my bad jokes, flipping a steak on the grill that cost $20 rather than $200, I knew I had made the right choice. I lost a CEO, but I think I might be getting my daughter back. And that is a return on investment that no spreadsheet can ever calculate. So, to anyone listening who feels invisible, who feels discarded by the people they sacrificed for, remember, dignity isn't given to you by others. It's something you carry inside. And sometimes, just sometimes, you have to remind the world exactly who you are. Not with a shout, but with a whisper that shakes the foundations. My name is Arthur Pendleton. I am a gardener. I am a father. And yes, I am the boss. Thanks for listening.